I'm obviously running behind too. So, but I think that's what this zero session will be about anyway. So.
Yeah, it's just sorting things out. I'll just now where have I got to do? About being fun. My brain's not working. So everything. Oh yeah, how did you like your letters, or was it a recommendation?
Oh yeah, did you share that with everybody else already?
No, it's only you pair. You can share it with Marie if you want to.
Okay.
You'll like it. They'd be bigged up.
Let me see if I can find it here. Where did you send that? Oh, there we go. How do I guess I just.
I can actually do it my end if you want to.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That'd be easier, but yeah. I can.
Sure.
It's been put underneath. Where was it? God, grief, where are you? Typical. It's not in the quick access, is it?
So did you? Did I hear you say that you were going to give yourself money finally?
A little bit. I already had a dot of resources, you know.
I mean, we have to stop relying on Marie to pay for us.
Philip can pay for himself. He just can't pay for everyone else. Okay.
You've had 20 years in the city, so you've got more than enough time to sit down and sort things out.
I know. Yeah, I have my resources one. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, Marie's got resources 3. She's the rich fucker, however.
Yeah. She's the literal trust fund kid there. Okay, it's
If she's still got a family.
Marketing in the early days was a very lucrative business, and I invested in a lot of companies that had pictures of fruit.
Oh no! Oh.
If she's San Francisco, that would have been apple and was it apricots?
Exactly.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Fruit is healthy for you. They have to be good investments if they're healthy for you, so it's fine.
Oh man!
I've invested today.
Where am I? My brain is going. Oh, of course I'm going to the wrong place, aren't I? Oh dear. The only problem with Windows is the fact that you have to have a directory structure to sort everything, and you get lost in it. Yes. I based the letter of introduction on a real one. I got a template and I thought, oh, yeah, that's their letter of introduction. It doesn't big them up at all. As I pointed out, the prince that gave you that letter isn't Prince anymore.
Right.
I'll explain what. Because if you read the Chicago timeline, not Chicago, the
San Francisco
timeline, you'll notice there's been 3 princes in very quick succession.
Okay.
The city has changed since you were there last. I don't think you'd recognise the vampires anymore.
Probably not.
There'll be 1 or 2 you might do. 1 or 2 you might do. Some of the old guard. Probably 1 or 2 the, I think what's it called, the Rose something Plate Club, but they've been around for years, which tend to be anarch or work for anybody they think can give them money sort of thing. They're a bit mercenary like that. Yeah, no, that's where the other player characters are at the moment, enjoying hours of fun. They're not running at all. They're not panicking.
No.
As I said, I'll leave that as a nice surprise if they ever come across, because as I said, there's also another link that comes across which makes sense, because I've been picking up some of the plots out of the Chicago one, and one of them actually fits very well and puts a nice link across. And I have a nice plot at the start, which is a very short one, but it's a good test of what you do and not do, and I'll be fascinated how you cope with it. I should call it a bomb, as they do in Cult. You drop a bomb. That's what they call it, and you literally have no plan of a story from the start. Aha. Yes, I'm just looking at your tastes there. Was it for Philip? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bane is about right. Yep. Yep, you're wicked too with the Dominate. I like it.
Oh yeah. It's, I mean, yeah. When a cop says freeze, you do it, right?
Oh, I love the one of it. Well, my Tremere uses that very nicely. Works on mortal. That's actually easier to use it on mortals now. You can dominate.
It's just automatic now.
Yeah.
On a mortal.
Unless they are awakened.
unless they're really aware of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
If they just sit there and look at you playing, if they just look at you, you know. Oh, yes. The lights of.
If they're an unimportant NPC, then they just fail. That's the they
I don't know. Some of the important ones was it you could do it on, because if they're truly mortal. It's the ones that are not quite mortal. It's that's it. Humanity, your health is supposed to be done. Willpower, that's fine. No, that's fine anymore. It depends on 50 years. I think most of your touchstones now most of yours will be too far away now, because they would have been based in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah. In the
Yeah.
I mean, since it's like since we're essentially resetting the campaign in a way, I feel like there's I don't know how explicit it is in the rule book, but I feel like there should still be some sort of opportunity to reestablish mortal ties when you like move to a new city, for instance.
It makes sense. Allow one character in the other game to take a ghoul for the fact that it's their servant, but it works and it sort of bends the rules, and it makes sense because then it's someone they see every day, so it's highly likely they are going to be a touchstone of theirs.
Right.
Yeah, as I said, I bend the rules like that because it makes more sense to do that. There's no point saying, oh, you can't have that, because the rules say no, that just makes sense. There's some of those are not. There's another one. Touchstones are not even going to be anywhere near them. So that's the problem.
Yeah, so I think it just makes sense that you should be able to, at least outside of the context of the the game, whenever that you should be able to reestablish touchstones.
Definitely, as you said, you've moved cities, so you have now. Was it new things in there? Right, I don't think he's arriving. This is a bit of a shame, but hey, that's not a problem. Right, so I can't see any issues with any of the characters so far. Said touchstones is really up to yourselves.
Right.
They can be, as I said, fairly flexible. They can be retainers. They can be, certainly with yourself, they can be people you met in Chicago, as in Chicago PD, anything like that. That would work.
Right.
Because you've been there now for 21 years. That's how long it's been. Oh, I hadn't realised that. I've just noticed just how dusty my machine has just got. Woohoo! Oh.
In Simon's game, I'm bummed that touchstones have to be actual humans, because I would have made my character's dog his touchstone.
That actually leads to some very interesting things, because if it's your dog, you've got to protect the dog. Then if the dog gets that, then it will then cause issues.
Well, they don't live very
yeah, it's like a symbiotic. It's like a symbiotic thing. It's like the dog, looks out for him. It's technically is my gangrel's, hellhound, but it's also like the dog is also really important to him personally, from left over from his mortal years. It's like it's the dog that he and his now dead his girlfriend adopted as a puppy. was
Yeah, no, I said
so,
I'm a bit more flexible than the rules are because that makes sense. Let's see, I had in one game a Ventru could only drink out of a certain flask, if I think I've said that before.
right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, and I said, a lot of these things the rules are only a guide, they're there to be sort of bent. If it makes, as far as the character's going to make sense, these things don't, they add to the story, which means if you're using the dog, then you would have something, you'd use the dog if you were going to be particularly mean to that. You'd have to protect the dog, etc.
Right.
It's like if you, like your touchstones are the things that keep you grounded, like fetters as far as race are concerned. And they said, as you said, as you get older, they get less important by a big amount. So in the 21 years, as you said, you can spend the XPs I've given you on near enough anything you need. You can use them on backgrounds. If you can justify your contacts in Chicago, you've got 21 years to sit there and create new contacts in Chicago, in addition to ones you had in San Francisco. Though saying that, if you hadn't kept up with what's happening in San Francisco, those contacts would disappear anyway. For a human, 20 years is a long time not to see you. Their memories are not very good, so you haven't been maintaining them, so they're likely to have gone anyway. You'd have to, if you went back to San Francisco, you would have to reacquaint and redo it again. As far as disciplines, there's no, you can find most people who teach you disciplines, because I think the full list of characters, you've got a full range in there.
I think I was starting to try to learn Auspex from Marie.
Yeah, you can do that. I think Auspex is a teach one, it is, and she's got enough to teach you.
Yeah, we're now happily trying to teach.
Yeah, excellent. You have 20 years to teach him all specs, so he can sit there and work, and it works different.
How does it work? Did you hit them and say, "Did you see that coming?" Whack, did you see that coming?
That's probably her method. Yep.
I could just.
I can beat some premonitions into you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Creep behind you and go, tap you on the shoulder.
Here's the question. If Marie doesn't have the specific power under Auspex that I want, can I still, would her teaching me automatically lock me into,
I'll be a bit flexible, yeah. Yes, you can get another power you need, as in it's all the same, it's just learning how to open yourself up to it more than anything else.
Okay.
Along with the appropriate blood, which is half the fun.
So, just so you know, there has been a slight development in the relationship between Marie and James.
Go on.
In that way.
In that we both have, because of the changes, now we're both alley cats, we both have potence, we both have soaring leap. So we do, every so often, go for bounding leaps around.
Are we all alley cats?
It does sound like it.
Holy shit. Okay, I mean,
If I remember.
Wow.
Let's have a look.
I was worried that James was also going to be an alley cat, but I didn't think Marie was going to be. That's
Apparently
crazy.
she just takes after her. She takes after us.
It's way more fun to chase them down and make them scream.
Holy shit. Okay, I mean, in the game that I run, I encouraged my players to choose different predator types, just because, that's just like having different clans is, it's some spice of life. But wow,
Yeah. Have you got soaring leap too?
No, I chose celerity. That was much more.
Okay. So we've both got potent soaring leaps, so we literally do go pounding off every so often.
Also, because looking at the rest, knowing the rest of the options, I'm not convinced that the trials would be able to to trick people into most of the rest of them.
I would have thought maybe Sandman for Marie, but
Yeah,
but that's not.
Still,
she spent a long time
no,
in alleyways stealing from people, and occasionally it's fun to play pretend again.
yeah. Actually, she can be particularly mean, actually dragging people into. Was it? Oh, look at this innocent kid, and then they suddenly thought, oh shit. As this.
Exactly.
I get it.
Wait,
I mean,
the way I describe this character to my friends is I'm like, well, yeah, no, I play like a 7-year-old. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, no, it's great. She goes up to people and goes like, I'm really lost. Can you help me find my dad? And then they go around a corner and I kill them.
Yeah, it makes sense. And
that's what this character is.
Yeah.
you got her, and was it one character you met, Little Mice? I've actually got a picture of her without her. Was it without that? And I thought I found that picture. And I thought that suits Little Mouse totally. The one to do with the Kiersid, who's changed slightly. He's not blue teens in actual fact, and they actually have changed totally, near enough. They're still the same basic, but they have slightly different disciplines and slightly different feeding. Now actually, I'll tell you a hint, they're a very good person to know. If you want a blood of a specific nature, you go to them. They're blood alchemists. So he is actually a very good person to know. If you if you're after a particular sort of blood to learn a discipline, that's the guy to do. If you're a thin blood, you go and wander off to that guy because he'll give you all the blood you need. If he appears to you, that's the thing. And Little Mouse is your servant. All Nosferatu in the city have to be behind, pardon me, a mask. The prince doesn't like Nosferatu wandering around without masks. So they have to sort of do that because he regards it as a breach of the masquerade. Yeah. Anyway, anything else we need? That's all the XPs. That your predator types. You've got your merits. There's nothing else, is there? Oh. Yeah, as always with you guys, you're not going to have the same issue as other guys. Your last blood point, if you want to go down to 0 hunger, is numbing people. You'll all do that, so you're not going to have that issue, regardless of your blood potency. So yeah.
I have the disadvantage of I don't really eat animals or bag blood.
No. I'm trying to think what. Let's have a look what your.
Well, I'm blood potency 2, although I was thinking I would prefer to be blood potency 3, but there's no way I'm spending 30 XP on that.
Actually, would it be worth?
I'm at the minimum blood potency I'm allowed for my generation.
I think actually I'll let you have the third one because that one means that makes sense.
I'm one of the older ones here, aren't I?
Yeah, it does make sense. That one you can have.
Okay.
Because that does make sense. It means bag blood is not an option for you at all.
I think so, yeah.
And the other things you get, generation, the other options you get, generation doesn't have a lot of effect nowadays.
Yeah, it's really blood potency.
Yeah. Generation just determines one.
I just my character sheet for some reason says 12. It should be 9th generation.
Change that.
Yep.
Let's see. You get. Yeah, one adds 1 dice to their blood surge. 2 adds 1. 3 adds 2. Yeah. Bonus. 1 gets none. 2 adds 1 dice to the first level, and 3 gets 1 dice for second and below.
Yeah.
0 can go all the way down. I still disagree with 1 though. You still, to get your last blood point gone, you still have to, numb someone's on the neck.
To get 0, you have to kill.
Yeah.
Hunger Zero.
Right.
But that's always been the case. So, you know,
Yeah.
that means there's no way for you to not.
For you guys, that's not a problem. With some of the other guys and in the other game, that is a problem. Because one, I think I'll say, there's some baggers among them. So.
Well, they'll always be hungry, but that's the downside of having.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't. You can't use animal or bagged blood. Those are two can use animal and bagged, but it only stakes half your hunger. Cool. I'm just looking at what's above that. It's about 4 and it starts to get a bit mean after that, because stake 1 less hunger per human. So that's it. You start at 4. You start to lose the fact you can't start to feed on humans as well.
Yeah.
And then 5 and 6. Yeah. It's when you get up to the high ones. That's it. It's when you get to 6 and 7 is when you start to get a bit.
Yeah. You're not supposed to really see that.
And the blood potencies is as in. I think that's when you can increase attributes. Valve check. Oh yes, and you have higher bane severities at higher.
Yeah. The more powerful your blood is, the more powerful the actual weakness of being a vampire is.
Yeah, you get more closer to the point of doing that, and it's also your blush of life gets more difficult as you go up.
Yeah, because you're more bestial.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as a 9th generation, I can have between 2 and 5 blood potency.
So yeah, generation is not quite as powerful. Though I'd still worry about the elders if they're still wandering around, because they have usually high blood potency.
My bane severity is now 2.
Yep. Oh yeah, and they have some really yeah. Have you noticed who's still about? In the NPCs, one of your favourite characters is still about. She hasn't gone. Well, she went for a short while and then came back. You remember Portia?
It's hard it's hard to forget.
Right.
Yeah, she's back. She actually did She did disappear for a short while. And then came back. I'll go all the way through who's who and where. Nothing else I need to do with the characters. Actually, there is the coterie, which is the thing there. Let me see if I can find the sheets to do with that. Because as you guys work together, you're near enough a coterie already, so I thought it basically, you worked so long together, it would be natural. Let me see if I can find the coterie rules. And this is where a domain comes in, but I need to study the map to think of where the best place to do that.
Especially because there's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Probably not too far inwards, because we do have a Malkavian. And I'm a Gangrel, and we have a Ventru anti-tribute in our team.
A spat.
Anti-tribute just means against the clan.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Well, spat are nowhere to be seen. Where are we? They disappeared. Well, they haven't. They're just not as.
So I just wanted. I couldn't find the messages that went back and forth a week or 2 ago. So it was our whatever XP we had earned in the previous.
Yeah.
Plus 12, 15.
15.
What was the
15?
Plus 15. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
cool.
it. Right.
So I had for me, I I had 41 XP. Lucy, Marie had 43, including the 15.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea of the region of XP you're at.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have 18 written down. I don't know if that's current or not.
If that's previously, that would be previous, I think. Let me have a quick look. I've still got the count.
I mean, I wasn't spending my XP, so if we were getting.
We haven't had an opportunity to spend any up until now.
Yeah, I don't think any of us had spent any. So, but that, I mean,
I haven't got
that
it.
leaves me.
Wait a minute.
That leaves me 10 behind you guys. You know, which doesn't. Unless
No,
were you guys? Did you
add
guys
15 on top of that number?
Right.
Oh, wait a minute, got it. Let me see what was that. Yeah, 15 would have been what you had last.
That's weird. Because so I had my XP down as so what was that? 26 I had listed down.
Yeah, it must. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Actually, what we'll do is we'll give you an extra 10, so you're at least in line with these guys. I think that's going to be fair.
I was wondering, did I come in late or something? Was that?
I can't remember. It might have been, was it?
I feel like what's happened is the last couple of sessions I asked him about XP, so he added it onto us, but didn't add it onto you. Maybe.
Oh yeah, okay.
I might have forgotten.
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah, because.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
I don't think.
So I
okay.
16. Yeah, that was that one. 3 is. Oh, I had to go here. That's a shame. I'll have to catch you up and do a 18s with all the 15 on top. So yeah,
I need more health. 10 is not enough.
Wow. Well, Philip, as I'm doing maybe this will change after now that I have some more XP to play with, but I put stamina as Philip's dump stat.
So what, you got like 4 health?
Yeah, so it's like, it's fortitude, but I bumped up his fortitude to 2, so he now has more fortitude than he has stamina. So
did you buy toughness?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just picturing it as like while he was immortal, Philip just had like a free pack a day habit. It was the early days, man. He was
Yes.
he was smoking like a chimney.
Just looking at the maps on those, I just noticed on the west side there's an area abandoned Hector interests.
Oh, plenty of graveyards then.
Okay, Grave Hecator, a bit more, is it, than that? Former, oh, I see. Yeah, you've been around there. Former lupine proving grounds, beware.
Oh, dang.
If you look at lots of the maps, it'll tell you where was it certain areas that are already in use. Oh, I like it. Abandoned Capone area. Oh, Claremont Park is no gangrel territory. Do not enter without permission from the gangrel. I'll go all the way through that. So I don't think there's anything more to do with the characters, just working your touchstones out, which is just something you need to do. So, and you've got the XP sorted. You've got 21 years. Let me go through what I put on those, so I can go through what's happened in those 21 years with the various plots you had. Right, let's minimise you. Just, oh, come on. Thank you. Right. Yeah, you've got the letter of introduction, which Philip has. Yeah, it's well thumbed now. It's about 20 years old. It's getting a bit old. Right. It's a shame the guy isn't here, because his character will go by, I think it goes by the name Cleo. Oh well, shame. It's his loss. I I'll grab Alder and see what happened. He's also ill, so he might be that he's ill again. So it could be that. Where are you? There it is. Right, actually we'll do the coterie first, because that's going to be the easiest to do. Right, there should be a document there that goes through what I gave you, overview of the coterie. Right. Coterie creation is by spending the coterie pool on the coterie domain, background and floors. So you get 6 dots initially. You can add to that from your own vantage points, from the experience points to the coterie pool. Basically, it's gain permissions of certain part of the domain. You have to have Chase, Lynn, and Portinian, and you spend the pools on a one-to-one basis. Backgrounds and floors in common, which you can have adversary, allies, contacts, enemy, haven, herd, influence, mask, malware, resources, retainers, and status as a coterie. You also get a type of coterie. You're like all alley cats, aren't you? And the last,
we prefer the term slightly vicious.
Dreams relax me.
Yep, I don't think they've given the characters a sheet to do with coteries, which is a little odd. Let me have a quick look. One of those things I do not know if they do. So when I'm looking at this, I have to go somewhere else. Right. I don't think they do. Which is a bit of a pain. Right, let's do this. So you've got 6 points to spend on this. Any you want to put in there, you could use that for the attributes of the domain. Looking at the maps, there are areas within the city. A domain can be a block of the city. I think it can also be a group of people. We've got one guy in the other game who uses his domain would be hospital. The other guys don't actually need domains. Baggers don't need domains as such, other than for supply.
In the outer character section, I've just thrown the V5 coterie page, as in the coterie sheet.
Aha! Yes, I'll download that.
It's an interactive one, so they're all quite useful.
Yeah, where do I put this? Oh, good grief. We'll go back to there, we'll go back to there. Come on, brain, start working. Systems. My big long list of systems. Which are nicely backed up, so there's no issue there. 5th edition. Had I got quarterly character sheets? I hadn't. Oh, thank you. I hadn't got one. I had not got one. If one of you keep hold of that sheet, and then we can sort of start working on that. Right, I'm trying to find where the coterie is, because it's so the domain can be anything. The stats, I'm just going to see if I can find it. Vampires, coterie creation, that's it. So domain, a core aspect of the coterie is your domain, represents a physical area of the city which your coterie can hunt. To the Camarilla, each resembles a feudal theft held by grant by the prince or another noble kindred. Pardon me, you're not anarchs, far from it. Right, you have chase or chess describes how well stocked your Rosetta domain is. The size is 1 dot is a city block or suburban gated community. 2 dots is 4 blocks. So it depends how big you want it. Oh blimey! 4 dots is one neighbourhood or a defined district, a square kilometre. Blimey, that's big.
Yeah.
5 is 3 neighbourhoods, a large group of features, all parks on the south side, all hospitals in Queens, all highways south of the river. So it includes things like that. I think you can have, if you have a business, it can be that. 2 points is a block, but it can also be a small site. 2 is landmark, hospital or mall. 3 is an airport, a major employer, casino or even college. And now you can't have the Succubus Club.
We wouldn't want it.
That's moved, by the way. It closed down and it's moved. It's Succubus Mark 2. And
Not quite succubus enough.
oh dear. I think it's easy to hunt. A default hunting within the area is 6 inside your domain, so it's easier for you to. And each additional dot reduces the difficulty by 1. So if you higher chas, I can't know how to say that. The easier it is to hunt. And you have Lean, Lean. How well Lean. How the trait describes how well integrated your coterie is in a domain. It just adds 1 dice to the coterie members pool on attempts to interact peacefully with native mortals, find something, someone, somewhere within the domain, find out what's happening on the street. And Porta Leon describes your security, basically. How secure is your domain? Basically, sort of things they do is foes pools when they attempt, for example, enter, investigate, or surveil the domain without you knowing. 20 years is up to you.
Well, we have 2 people who like living in lives of luxury, so I assume you'd want something a little bit better.
I mean, I already have a haven.
Yeah, but no, this is our group effort.
Group.
As in you, this is it can be around your existing haven, depending where it is.
I mean, I don't mind it being around my existing haven because there'll just be bits of the haven that you guys won't be allowed to access / able to access.
Well, within the actual, if it's depending on its size, you can have separate havens, but that is your area. That's what you hunt.
Yeah.
I think there is a difference.
Wherever we're hunting, it's going to be some sort of area that has a slightly lower crime rate due to all the muggings that happen.
Yeah.
I picture. I mean, we can, whatever, come to sort of compromise. But actually, I picture Philip hunting in places where there's maybe greater crime, but due to his venture predilections. So, but I mean, yeah, you do tell me if that resonates with what you see your characters.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it used to have higher crime rates, but the crime rates have mysteriously dropped since we moved in.
I was just looking at
because I've got a level 3 haven, so it's not too shabby.
I think as we're just, what you were just saying earlier is that your haven doesn't necessarily have to be within our hunting domain.
No.
Yeah.
The
It's got a
coterie.
good location as well as part of my haven, that's all. So I'm happy for it to be the base of operations if we want to use it for that, and then everyone go home at the end of the day. And everyone just kind of work out of my house as an office kind of thing.
I like this place being the
I'm trying to think.
sort of a base of operations, but not necessarily where we base the hunt from.
You don't. Was
like
it? You don't
when we're doing
any
vampire stuff.
Yeah. They also give you examples.
When we're doing vampire stuff.
Yeah, I was just looking at the various groups. They give you examples of what's it that are there, and I was looking.
I will happily throw 6 XP into the coterie.
Yep.
Make a note of that on my character sheet.
Yeah, so that's 6. That's 12 so far.
I mean, I don't have any XP to spare, so
That's fine.
I'm donating my haven as an office space.
So wherever your domain, you can either base the domain around there. It's basically an area of land where you hunt. Where you it could also be a base. It's up to yourself.
I think we do want to have a slightly bigger area for our domain because there's 3 of us.
Right.
So we need a slightly larger area of
Actually,
what's the name?
Well,
Of,
we're in a major city, so it doesn't actually have to be that big for any crime to go not hugely noticed.
Yeah, but it's the fact that the 3 of us we mug people, so it's like that's what I'm saying.
I
It's
don't
like,
mug people. I just drain them unconscious, or at least a little ill.
yeah, but it's beating up first, isn't there? Or at least grabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go to any rough bit of any city, go to East London on a Friday night, and that's just East London on a Friday night. Like, there's nothing vampiric about it. You just go to. There's always areas of cities where that's just what happens.
Yeah, but it's more a case of how big an area. Like as you say, 1 dot is a block. You say 1 block has this extra amount of muggings going on.
That is true, I suppose.
if you go up to 2 dots, it's 2 to 4 blocks.
That's not too bad because that's like a whole tenement estate.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. So we need probably 2 dots.
I would say even 3. I like the idea that we have a large chasse, or however you pronounce that, but a small lean because we're essentially preying on the we're all alley cats, so we don't hunt gently, so we don't have a very good relationship with the with the natives of the neighborhood. So I like having a larger geographical area, but not having little to no relationship with the mortals that live there.
Well, if we also always remember to keep a little vial of booze on us, and we just drip that on the person, someone who comes across them, they're unconscious, they're drunk, is what everyone assumes.
Yeah.
They're just drunk in an alley instead of have been attacked in an alley. They're drunk and have fallen into a bin or something. And I've got a bruise.
Yeah, I was just looking at the type of coteries, and not one of them fit totally what you was it. You're not a fan gang. God, you're not a merchant, but yes, you are going out to be. Was it hounds, and was it high up in the within the Camarilla? You won't be the first. Was it the first? Was it hounds, which are as vicious, considering what they're going to do. Commando. coterie exists to fight his master's enemies, a vampire equivalent of a SWAT team. No, that doesn't work.
What was the name of the one that's the site? Is that
Vangang? Mirchel, for the coterie serves and guards the Prince of Baron, doing their bidding as attendants and hatchet men. Their direct access to ruler means that the influence of elders attempt to insert their child. You don't particularly like the Prince.
Yeah, we don't. We still obey him. I mean, it's just that we're waiting for someone to come along and say we want to get rid of him. It's like, yeah, sure.
You don't have to also have all of the stats either.
Right. So lean is, which one was lean? Lean is
the how you interact. Chassis area. Putin is.
I'm actually sharing my screen just so you know. That way we can fill the chart in together.
Yeah.
Lean is like how
you interact.
Relationship how well we interact with the mortals of the neighborhood. What our how easily we're able to interact with them and get information out of them, and that sort of a thing.
And Flottillion.
It's basically how secure your domain against incursion. And looking at the type of coteries, they don't all have to have all the stats. You can have it as 0. It just means you don't have anything. If you didn't have a domain, you would have to poach, and then you get down to the point. If you're poaching, you'd be sort of always the rack, as in the central part of Chicago, where anybody hunts.
So we have a domain, but we're just not particularly,
We're not disliked, but we're not hated. But kind of, because obviously there's lots of bad stuff happening here, but it's always the bad people.
Yeah. Which actually, if it's
maybe at Christmas we'll run a food pantry, sort of do Christmas dinners for the homeless or something.
Yeah. Give them tea for after you drain them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, they got a belly when we.
Exactly. If we run a really good soup kitchen, it just means that our meals are better fed and taste better. It's a purely selfish act, but it comes off as altruistic.
In actual fact, that's how Capone got a lot of support, was the fact he opened soup kitchens and did a lot of fed the poor.
It was the same with the...
yeah. Which means as in the public face you could have a fairly high lean and get away with it.
Yeah.
As in then you need resources. Again, as a coterie you can have resources.
Right. We're gonna
it's wonders. None of the...
What is buying, I see some of them have status. I'm trying to think of what, having, the coterie having status.
It does. A coterie is a group, so you have your own individual statuses, plus the group will have a status. As in, you've near enough acted as a group for the last 20 years, they'll either regard you as a group, or they'll regard you as that. So in the city, the major coteries, there's one which is the government. Strange that, isn't it? Which is anybody that works for the... Oh, you are going to be a pain. You are. Bookmarks. That's it. Yeah, got it. Yeah, they have, let's see... You've got the coterie, the chancery, which are the ones which you would know about. Chancery is the obvious one. The government is... Yeah, the government is to do with the prince and the primogen. So again, that's one group, and they will have their own status as a group. So you have statuses as yourselves and the status as a group. they're your own status. If you go and do something wrong, you can basically knock the status of the whole group down. You're lucky there are no was it that's something Chicago lacks. There are no harpies. Yeah, that I don't think there's any. If you're in a European city, you'd have to cope with harpies.
Nothing wrong with harpies. they do a useful job.
Yeah.
You point the hounds in the right direction.
Yes, and they can also knock your status down to 0 if you do the wrong a faux pas in public. So you're lucky. I think the nearest you've got.
I mean, we've got Jackson as a prince. He's got a stick shoved so far up his arse.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's just got daddy issues. That's what the problem here is.
He's got more than that. I've read his background. I can see why he is the way he is.
Given the way his sire dealt with having his people, it's not really surprising they all end up a little bit screwed.
Oh yeah, and considering that Lodin was it, or Ludin, whatever it is, was a typical European, not into people of a different colour, it's not surprising. So yeah, it's and the backgrounds. You've got things like status, which is actually would be a useful thing to have anyway. To be fair, what have I gone up here for? Oh, that's why. Ah, that's why. Let me go and see if they give me any more ideas in the player's book. I think there's no actual template that fits what you want.
There's a couple that kind of do.
You're not a fan gang. You don't depend on criminals. You use the You use the gangs to feed off. You're the criminal's worst enemy. Completely different.
Well, if I get higher animalism, I'm.
Yeah.
Or higher protein, even.
Yeah. Blood cult syllabus. No. God protect us. Again, it's up to you. If there's something you want to do that. Corporate, which is business. A day
Watchman. The coterie patrols the city and protects it from intruders, especially anarchs and werewolves. Government coteries establishing border repel Sabbat influence or colonize a newly won territory. Counts as watchmen. Anarch cities will call them watchmen, who also guard against reactionaries and cameral infiltrators.
Yep, as in that actually works in so much because you guys are. I know what you're aiming to do, as in your letter says. Part-time, unofficial. Was it hounds in? Was it the other city? Mostly fighting off. Was it the eastern vampires? Not very successfully, because they're still there. Yeah. Lupines, was it certainly become an issue in? Was it in Chicago? Still. Over the 20 years, you've seen less of them, and even as a gang war, you don't see them so much in the cities as you saw them 20 years ago. It doesn't help that one of the Primogen was it soon as she got into power, she got the wolf pack to go and kick butt of a few werewolves. It's a known fact that she hates werewolves, and she is one of the Bruja. There are now 2 Bruja Primogen.
We still have some Bruja in the Camarilla?
Oh yeah.
But not many.
Chicago split straight down the middle.
Well, it's more a case of didn't most of them leave the Camarilla after they decided that they wanted to kill an elder?
Not quite. Was it what you'll see is Critus is still there. If you look at the Bruja, I think the Seraph is even a Bruja, if I remember rightly.
The ex-sheriff.
No,
Thomas Edwell and Damien, the sheriff. Okay,
yeah, Damien, the sheriff. Those are the three you met. So Kritos is still there. Oh yeah, they're split straight down the middle. Oh yes. I actually like that picture of Balthazar.
I do too.
It's a lot
Although
better.
it doesn't
It's a
feel
lot
like
better
it's
than
big
this.
enough. It feels like it's being done slightly, so it's not quite as fat as it's supposed to be.
He was a total bastard the last time. And you can see why Damien was chosen by by the prince. Oh, and baby Chorus is on the way back again, which is going to be interesting, considering the being
I
round.
noticed there's a complete lack of Tremere.
Yes, I'll get onto that, but I'll get onto the status of where everything is. But
At the moment, I've got 3 dots in Chase, 1 dot in Lean, 1 dot in Portillion, 2 dots in Status.
Yep, status. If you
And then I want to do with our Haven. I've got land next to Marie's house, and I'm thinking if we have a hidden armory and a security system for it.
Yep. So you're going to have. So you've got to work out. I'll have to have a look at the map. So you want a 3 block.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got one more dot we can have.
Yeah. We can give it you can have a connecting hallway, a connecting way into my library and things to make sure you gain access to my the important bits of my haven.
I think, as far as I can tell with the maps, you can have a domain which is either north or west, or in downtown. South is a bit dangerous because after, I think it's 71st Street, it becomes werewolf territory. Or west, too far west, it becomes werewolf. And if you go too far south, it's into Anarch territory. As in, Gary now is an Anarch city.
I've got 1 dot in location, so I'm in the best location or a good location.
So I'll have a look. That can be to the north, which is seeing places like Gold Coast, with the famous house in there. The house, which I'll go down. I think there's something happened to that house since then. I'm not too sure if it's ever was put back onto the market. Status.
Actually, we could have 1 dot with Maula. So we got because been working with the actual the vampires. We've got we've got the status of what we've been doing, and they actually look out a bit for us, just a little bit.
You can actually just say with the Primogen on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that does make sense. Because if I remember right, because you have talked to Khalid.
Is that Archon still in town, or is
he's gone. I'll go all the way through that. The Archon's gone, and so have the Wolfpack gone.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the
we
one.
were our allies ish.
They sort of walked off with your letter, but you never asked for it back.
They stole a letter.
Yeah, they never gave it you back. They just walked off with it.
Well, they were just. We wanted them to keep around because we needed target practice.
They were just puppies.
The puppies will be.
The werewolves are still about, Marie. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're still puppies.
They're just not in the city anymore. The status would probably with that. I'm trying to look who would be in the government. Let's have a look.
I think that would be all of our dots spent, and I think
the Primogen will mean that your relationship with the prince, it will, as it's
we can have a tested relationship with the prince because we don't really show him the respect he feels he deserves, but because we do a good job for the Primogen, he kind of lets us be.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It makes sense. I've
actually been, as I've been telling Andy, I think Philip may have come around to the prince a little bit.
Maybe we should just work for Ballard. Maybe we can have a bouncy castle.
Right. Ballard.
It's for the right Iterum as well.
Yes, I'll go through, let's see, probably Annabelle too, and there'll be a reason why Annabelle. So Khalid and Annabelle Hernandez. Yeah, there isn't, I'll go through that, and probably Kritos, who's the bourgeois. Yeah, they're still bourgeois. I think that's it. It's just thinking, you just got to think of a name, which is, I think I put in my notes, the name's important. So that's up to yourselves, and just a basically brief view of what your purpose is as a group. It sort of gives you an idea. We'll do that. That can probably lead to the Chronicle Tenants. Of which the one won't be "Thou shalt not kill."
Oh, bollocks!
Well, it's a bit of a bugger if you were sitting there as alley cats. It's sort of was it a
"Thou shalt not kill," unless it's Jackson.
They tried that. Was it the other game? Was it in what's his name game? It's "Thou shalt kill." I was going with the Tremere. No, I will kill if I have to. I don't want to. That sort of curtails what I can do. Just because what he was, it doesn't mean he's not a vicious bastard. Just because he's a scholar doesn't mean he's not above killing someone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never killed anyone in your game so far.
I wouldn't care. Put Mr. Portendorfer is he's a bit of a. Yes, and hounds, to be frank, are all a bit funny anyway. But the job you know what a hound does. Basically, wanders around with the sheriff, removing people that don't fit the city. So you've been probably used as unofficial hounds on and off for about by the Primogen more than by the princes. But considering what you've gone through is Primogen rule, a prince who is prince by paperwork, and the new prince who actually did practice because the Primogen thought, well, he's better than the last one. The last one cost him a lot of money and the city a lot of money. I think that's all that's the courtry sorted. It's just got to think of a name. You can argue that one out. I like the idea, and I'll have a look at the city, see if I can on the maps to do that. I'll go through the state of the city government at the moment. Your Primogen's slightly different now. Your prince is Jackson. The essential is, I think, they actually have no essential, or whatever they call it.
Seneschal.
Seneschal is Alan Sovereign. Ballard has no position.
Yet. I'm sure he's conniving somewhere in the background.
Sheriff is Damien. The Primogen itself will be Kritos, Annabelle, Khalid, Hernandez, and Son. I'm trying to think what Santos is. There's another one called Santos. Yep, that's it. Damien's the sheriff. There's Alexa Santos, which is a Magnus Canis, which means the big dog. Head of, how you say, a senior hunter. Hernandez is the Gangrel Primogen. I think you met her once. She's the one that dislikes werewolves. Yep, she's a complete different view of werewolves than the previous. Was it Primogen member? You have Jason son Newbury, the Markavian Primogen. Replaced his mother once she died. Of course she died.
His nickname is Sun. Jesus Christ.
He was called Son by, was it Mother? The one he replaced. She sort of disappeared, and he sort of took up the position as the Maccabians, was it Primogen? Yeah, well, she had an accident, sort of thing.
That's because we're awesome.
Khalid, the Nosferatu Primogen. There's some, was it some, if you read... Howard? Khalid.
Howard? Oh, sorry, I thought you said Howard.
No,
Howard
Khalid.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. Yep. There's some question over, was it Khalid at the moment? Was it as far as his sanity? Sort of thing. And sort of thing, was it as in, I think he's never in the same place as another Nosferatu.
What? Why is there no prince? I can't believe Jackson is so shit. They don't even have a Ventru fucking Primogen.
No, they don't.
Oh my god, they're
No.
terrible.
No.
You can see why you're an anti-tribute. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
They can't even get Ventru into a position of power within his own bloody reign.
Nope.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's Philip's starting ambition is to get himself on the Primating Council.
Yeah. The last member, the official member, is Annabelle, the Toreador Primogen. There is now Nikolai has gone. He disappeared off to Vienna and was caught in the attack on Vienna by the Second Inquisition, and he's presumed he's dead. Since then the Tremere have, was it sort of dropped out of sight as such. The Chancellery has been fairly quiet. They're still about, I think there's 2 or 3, was it, Tremere there? 2 new ones and one that used to have 1 arm, I think it's Disable, who now has 2 arms. The Bourgeois now they actually have 2 positions on there. The Bourgeois are now split into 2 groups, as in the group that stayed with the Prince, which includes Kritas, Hernandez and Damien, and a few others. So they're tolerated. The rest of them moved south to, was it Gary? Includes, was it, wondrous characters like Genghis and various troublemakers. Your famous juggler disappeared in, I think, around 2017, along with Modis, the Prince of Gary. The Prince of Gary was allowed by the Prince to be arrested by the Anarchs, and him and the juggler disappeared at the same time. So juggler's gone. I think Gary now is a Anarch free state. At one point Juggler declared himself the Baron of Gary. Nothing like, was it, going up in the world and then disappearing. And there's actually one more person that acts as a sort of an advisory position. It's called Amicus Curiae, and it's Marcel, a certain gentleman that talked about drugs, a certain of the ministry, who actually acts as a sort of a spokesman for those who do have access to the Primogen. So as to anybody who isn't of the main clans, they can go through Marcel and he will talk on their behalf. Why would you go through a ministry? Was it the ministry? I don't know. The ministry is, as you gathered now, has changed. It now includes Setites and others. There are no Hecatar at all. From what you've gathered is the Prince does not like Hecatar of any shape. It doesn't mean there are no Hecatar in there. There's none which are open. There was only one Giovanni, The other Giovanni was it? I think the Marchese hasn't been seen in the city for a long time. And that's the guy that owned the house on the Gold Coast, the one with the writing on the wall and the equally strange people. The Marauder, as in the guy that was it did strange things. The Ben Hakim, there are some in the city. The Assamites are now called Ben Hakim. They've now what happened in '99. The split is now even worse. So the only ones you will have over here will be the Muslims who are getting away from the Middle East, where
the ones that are running away.
Yes, the ones that stuck to their religious belief and that the schism wide open. The Gehenna War is still going on in the Middle East. A lot of the elders have gone, except one or two cases. The major one being Portia, your favourite Toreador.
I don't even think she's a Toreador at this point.
Yeah, she came back. You haven't seen the Kyrsid for 20 years. There is word that the Zomba wants to join the Camarilla or join the city. As far as you know, there's negotiations going on. Depending on the city and the stories go, for them it depends on the prince. It can include a sacrifice of an elder for them to join the city.
Oh, right.
We sacrificed Jackson for them to join the city.
No, they have to sacrifice one of their own elders, not one of ours.
He's already changing the parameters of the deal.
Yeah, so there's word, you don't know what's going on there. So the ministry's changed. What else is there? There's not that many Ravnos. The Ravnos are near enough, the easiest way to describe them is the broken clan. In so much they're still about, but they're still recovering from the weekend of the nightmare, where they went loony. So there's not many of those. What else is in there? There's no Tashumi there. That's those. I don't think there's any in the city. It's actually quite boring city. The city is it's a standard Camarilla city, as in there are domains. So you have to be careful where you hunt. So having your own hunting ground makes it easier. If you didn't have a domain, you would have to hunt. If you see on the map, there's certain areas where you can't hunt because they belong to that. Capone's disappeared, apparently. The story goes that because of who he was, the prince sort of got rid of him because he was a threat to the masquerade. Nosferatu still are the masters of the underworld. There is still an underworld, of which they're still bitching at what's left of Tremere, was it blaming them for flooding the underworld a long time ago, killing or destroying a lot of their havens. It's very difficult to drown the vampire. And Arcavians, I think one owns the Blue Velvet Club. Son replaced his mother, who had an accident. I think you've seen Balthazar, the sheriff. He's been bitching. It's his favourite hobby to bitch about the fact that he was kicked off as sheriff. Tyler's disappeared.
I like Balthazar.
Yeah. Taylor's disappeared. Or Tyler, she's disappeared. The various stories about her came to nothing in the end. About a certain diary, it was shelved. What didn't help, it was printed, so it could easily be, invalidated. Right, so let's have a look. I'll go down. Yep, you had the Death Mage's death, which of which his body was taken away by the masked people into the underworld. You haven't seen Matthias Horndai now, and his ghost now in 20 years. He seemed to have disappeared. The name the Tarmaray has sort of gone out of use. You haven't heard that term in a long while. It's believed that it was destroyed during the someone claimed was the sixth maelstrom in the underworld. Basically, it was a big storm at the end of the century, and they sort of disappeared. There was one bit of fallout from the death of, was it Master Portendorfer? A number of people were found dead in a hotel, believed to be mages. Who killed them has never been determined, and the bodies were claimed by a mysterious group in Paris. Your Russian werewolf friends, they've stopped talking to you. They went very cold soon after. The war between them and who was it? Between them and the Prince Jackson, was it sort of petered out after a while. The clashes it'd been rumbling on for about a decade. After which point they made was it a sort of a deal, and basically the Russians were given basically South Chicago and Gary to, was it sort of as their region, to, was it for drug deals, and the Bloods and the Prince got everywhere else. Kevin Jackson has lots of influence. Since Hernandez has come in, and since the number of werewolves were killed by the Wolfpack, you see now very few werewolves within the city. So you don't see anything. It is a known fact that Rosa Hernandez of the gang rule dislikes the werewolves.
I will spend a bit of time during the 20 years still visiting the place where they were, in the grounds that I owe them, because I owe them a boon in my mind.
Yeah.
And that way, in case they do need me, they've got a way to. I'm still there in case they need me.
Yeah, they don't use that area anymore, as far as you can tell. If there were any werewolves in business, they're certainly not in there. You gather that from what you've heard, if you did what you did into Aurora, as in that far out, you wouldn't have been given a chance to walk out now. They would have just killed you full stop.
Well, they could have tried.
Yeah, but they would have just killed you outright. They wouldn't have done the wind you up and chase you away sort of thing. Yeah. Another reason why they backed off is Pentax's position within Chicago got a little hairy. Mostly because they bound off the Sabbat by, attacking them with the Black Spiral Dancers, and literally stopped the Sabbat in their tracks. Which meant that both vampires and werewolves were actively undermining their business. So in 1999, a year after, they downsized their presence at Chicago, and they actually moved their regional office from Chicago to Detroit. All that's left now are a few subsidiaries, which seem to be a lot more intent on doing what they want to do rather than getting involved with vampire politics anymore. Yeah, from what you gather, the Sabbat were not happy by Pentax actions, because it basically stopped the Sabbat from working. Yeah, and the Sabbat have near enough pulled away, but it's not surprising because the Sabbat are now busy in the Middle East with the Gehenna War. That doesn't mean the Sabbat are quiet. It's likely they are active, but they won't be as doing that. In the game, they are bugbears. They are not player characters anymore. They're not played. They are, antagonists, purely and simple. I think I've gone for the Tale of Two Princes. Yes, Joseph Patterson declared practice on the Olympic bid in 2007. On the 2016 games. By 2009, the Chicago lost its bid, and in 2010 Kevin Jackson took over. Kevin Jackson is probably one of the youngest princes in the New World. As far as the Venture is concerned, they don't like, they're very European. They can be very racist in so much that their attitudes can be doing this, so you can imagine that Jackson doesn't get always a clean, all the respect he deserves, especially from within the Vampire and America in general. He really is trying to make Chicago the jewel of Camarilla City. So he's very strict with the masquerade. You break the masquerade, he will drop on you like a ton of bricks. As I said, he's so tight that even now, Nosferatu cannot run around without a mask. Mask of 1,000 faces anymore. If they do, it will be classified as a bike of the masquerade. There's also another story going around that claims that Lodin did not meet his final death in the attack in 1993. Most of the stories are ignored by the Camarilla, as there's never been any evidence on that. And I think as far as Ballard is concerned, he's thoroughly convinced that Lodin's dead. He saw him drop, basically, if I remember rightly. The Portia's still about. The Succubulus Club closed down, I forgot what date it was, but reopened again 2017. It has actually moved. Its old site now is a empty plot where it used to be. It's never been built on. Portia has not made contact with you for the last 20 years.
Oh no, what a shame.
Oh no. Mostly because at one point she did disappear. You assume that she fell foul of the calling or the beckoning. That's what it's called. Disappeared and returned back. Before that, it was also known that she used the Chancellery as her haven, as in the Tremere Chancellery and Nikolai. That seemed to have sort of gone out of the war since Nikolai has disappeared. The others are not being so pliable to her charms. It's not clear who. Oh yes, there's a story. She's fixated on another vampire, but again, these are only stories and rumours. And I think you met the other vampire, and as far as you know, they're certainly not from the New World. I think that's the one and only time you met him. He's the one that dominated you from a distance and asked you about what were you doing with Portia, sort of thing. If I remember rightly, that was near the end.
Hopefully I'm a little bit more resistant to that now.
Yeah. There is that.
I hate them doing stuff with my mind.
Yeah. You're not the only one. There's one of the other player characters. She dominated to a point they couldn't say her name. That was me. The strange house in the Gold Coast, with the strange glyphs, symbols and drawings, and there's two strange beings, one being called a Marauder. The other was burnt down early 1999 by persons unknown. The police department did investigate the fire. It turned out to be arson, but their investigation stalled and all leads, as always, ended in a dead end. Eventually, investigation was shelved, and police department just stopped because there's nothing more. You haven't seen the two strange beings since. The house was rebuilt again in 2005 by a developer who bought the land off the previous owners, but in 2010 the house was destroyed by another fire. This time it was due to a fault in the wiring in the house, apparently. This time the house has been left in ruins and the plot in the house has been abandoned, left to rot, with nature slowly reclaiming the plot. For some reason most people now avoid the plot of land and the developer has no plans for building. It looks like a bit of an eyesore in the middle of the Gold Coast. So you have these nice plots around it and you've got this plot in the middle that's sort of going back to nature. The whole thing was there is a persistent rumour that a group of majors were responsible for the first fire. Apparently was it chasing this thing called the Marauder, of which Mr. Portendorfer told you what he was. And we get to the question of the Archon Heikel Alderman Christensen, who questioned you about the house on the Gold Coast and a few other things. He stayed for another further month. He was summoned back to Europe on far more important business. He's never completed his investigations, but did indicate that he would be back to complete his investigations and hasn't been back since. But with the destruction of the house on the Gold Coast, yeah, he hasn't returned yet, and it looks like now it's been 20 years, it's highly likely he isn't going to return. The story of the diary was to do with Tyler. As I said, it got eventually, was it a disc? It's a printed copy. Anybody could have made it up, basically. And I think that's it. And it was actually 25 experience points you should have got, not 15.
Ooh, so we've got another 10 XP.
Yeah, 25.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I just noticed it. I've seen it at the bottom. Other than that, there's a whole series of rumours I've added on there. You'll see those are various things out of the book, and I think they include, if they're true or not, I'm not going to tell you. The sort of thing. It's on. Where are you? Pretty rumours and whispers. I've taken the selected few out there. Oh, there's a Société de la Noir Theatre has disappeared. That's gone. That went about 2000. They moved on. So the one daughter cacophony is not there. There's a whole load in there. Oh, the rumour of the demon stalks the underworld city is still there. That one's already there. What else is there on there? Is anything interesting? I'd like to put. Yep, there's mixed opinions about the L'Ensemble. Was it joining? There is a story there are no active werewolves within the city itself. Ah, yes, I like that one. Kevin Jackson took power. Annabelle suggested a few names of the tradition breakers for his purges. Christos runs a school for to teach neolites and new vampires how to be good members of the Camarilla. There is a story he's using it to recruit anarchs. Oh, someone called Bobby at the Hurricane has been collecting old books, and they're claiming it leads to infernalism. So don't go and collect books, or they might think you're an infernalist. Weird. I like that. Rumour that Marcel runs a debauched blood cult. That's it. The rumour that Kritas' internal economy is a front for recruiting anarchs. And there's a rumour he is an anarch who masquerades as a loyal member of the Camarilla. Yeah.
Oh, that's not That's not true at all.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a rumour that Pentex never left the city. After 20 years, there's been another gruesome crucifix murder investigated by the police. There's a persistent rumour there's infernalists in the cities. Oh, good grief. I like this one. This is one. Kevin and his allies are working together to exert control of key Camarilla Anarch Sabbat cities for a larger scheme. I'm not saying they're paranoid at all, are they? I just put the ones I thought were there. There's a persistent rumour that Callig has left Chicago, but how can that be true? He still attends Primogen meetings. Oh, I like that one. There's a rumour that Balthazar is plotting with an outside party to overthrow the prince, as everybody knows that Balthazar hates the prince, Kevin Jackson. Oh, I like this one. Kritos.
I'm not involved in that, honest.
Yeah. There's a rumour that Kritos is both ancient and insane. Is heard talking to himself. It's rumoured that Rosa Hernandez is working with the Lupines to plan another attack on the city. Okay. So some of these. Oh, there's a rumour that there's something dark in the Lake Michigan, so it's best to avoid the lake. Oh, I've just seen a mistake. Oh, I'll have to fix that. There's a whole load there. I'm just picking out the ones that does that. Rumour that Naomi is angling for Aventu Primogen. Capone held the role.
Where is this list?
If you go up to the prelude, it's rumours and whispers. There's a whole load there. I'm just reading down the ones that do that. I spent time sort of moving them round so they're not in any particular order. Oh, there's a story that there's a Malkavian wandering the city who claims everything has changed. Yes, there's also yourselves. There is a, what did I call it? I think you already have access. If you go to the Paragrams under the Welcome to the World, you'll see there's a big long essay or an essay that says over the past 20 years things have changed but subtle. You didn't notice it. You have a nagging feeling that things are different, but you cannot put the finger on what it is. As you said, you get the nagging feeling that there are those around you who died years ago but still here, or you don't remember when they came to the city but have always been here. As a vampire, you were sure you could do things. You could do more things than you do now, and they were more powerful. Blood magic is far weaker, and you remembered, though you believed it was already failing for a reason. There's also a difference about the werewolves. Maybe the tribes you think you remembered never existed, or replaced by other tribes, which you now believe have always been there. There are also other things which subtly different about the world, but the world still feels perfectly normal to you. You cannot remember when these changes occurred, just that they did sometime over the last 20 years, and you're almost convinced that they've always been true, and the other memories are just nagging feelings that haunt you at quiet moments, especially in the day.
Basically, Marine's been mindfucking us.
Yeah.
I take great offence to the assumption that I want to be anywhere near your mind. Or that you would notice if I actually did do anything to your brains.
Yep.
Because they would be pudding when I was done with them. There wouldn't be anything left.
That's it. And I think Damnatation's also changed, as in the not Damnation. It is, isn't it? The one.
Demontation, yeah. No,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
I've got Dominate now, so Demontation.
it's you have to look in one of those, because was it what the one to do with feelings is now under another, was it discipline? They've sort of changed. Yeah, as you said, I'll finish the end of this. Or you know something changed, and it's only you and those around you who know there's been subtle changes. As far as you know, you are the only ones who notice something different, then only vaguely. It almost feels as if someone or something has messed with the paradigms which define the world, for the reason you cannot get squaring of the circle out of your mind.
I believe it's the you have upgraded edition.
Yeah. Plus I can use the excuse that it's all the mage's fault. I was in a London Mage game, and someone did a time vote. Changed the timeline totally and utterly. So
I hope reality slapped them back.
I forgot what happened to them, was it? But it meant I had to change the. Oh, I've just closed everything down. Oh, okay, I can open it again. It just meant that everything was. I had to subtly change my character. Everybody had to do it. They're thinking, thanks guys. That was a really smart move, you idiots. I don't think there's anything else on there. As far as the city's concerned, everything's the same. Yeah, everybody avoids Lake Michigan now. Let me have a look if there's anything else there that should be.
Do we know which Mount Haven's been wandering around the city?
No.
Things have changed.
You don't.
Oh, it could be me.
So it could be Marie.
It could be. They're whispers. They're sort of hooks or whatever. Or they could be out and out lies. Right, let me have a look. See, I think I've got most of the kindred.
Out of curiosity, I noticed that there's a blood hunt character in the thing. What did they do?
Oh, Mr. Umbus and Mr. White. They broke the masquerade in a particularly spectacular way. The stories go that was it Mr. Umbus, I think, killed children in an orphanage, and Mr. White killed a whole ward in a hospital. They were having a competition to see who could do the most spectacular murders. And they still haven't caught them. They still haven't caught them, even now, 20 years later. So they're still well, apparently they're still wandering around the city. But no one's seen them for about 20 years, but that's, as far as vampires are concerned, isn't a long time. 20 years is a lot of time for mortals, but for a vampire it's just almost a blink in the eye sort of thing. Yep. I'm just looking down to see what else you would know.
What year are we now? What year are we now?
2020. I've got to decide if the exact date, but it will be April 2020. Depends how far I get with the second game is when I start yours, because you'll sort of go semi in parallel. While I'm here,
I'm almost 175 years old. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah. As you had from San Francisco, you would have had rumours of what's happening there. San Francisco, the prince that gave you the letter didn't last that long because he failed to get rid of the eastern vampires, and I think it was something mandate or something like that, as in there was an agreement between the anarchs and the eastern to keep hold of the city. He was followed. He replaced the previous Ventry prince that failed. Yeah, and after him there's one more Ventry prince that lasted a couple of years, and they were kicked out with the coming of the Camarilla War of Koresh, and basically he did what was basically a military coup, which managed to clear the city of all the eastern vampires, the all anarchs. So now he controls only San Francisco itself. A lot of people you knew there are not there anymore, as far as you know, and there's still a lot of anarch activity there. If you go south to Gary in Chicago, that is anarch territory. They're not the overly friendliest, was it, to anybody who has too close ties to the Camarilla. They seem to regard you as traitors because you, was it, work for the Camarilla, as in the guys there. The Tremere have lost power.
That's because there's none in the city.
They have none now. So yeah, so they're definitely lost.
Does that mean people have been raiding their chantry?
No, they're still there. No one can raid their chantry. They haven't gone. They never went. They've just never had enough there to do that. Mel Davis is still around. She was someone who had aspirations for power in the city. Certainly connections to that. Capone was people suspect was removed by doing that. The other issue that the prince has got, because of the likes of other cities and because of San Francisco, there have been a number of failures of venturing the New World to actually hold on to their territories, as in Prince, and to be affected by it. So not only is he trying to make it the jewel, he's now going to make sure that he doesn't lose the city in a similar way as places like San Francisco. He's got a lot to prove, in other words, to the Camarilla. So yeah, he has that interesting thing to do. I think the rest you will. I'm just looking down to see if there's any of the others who you will know. The Gangrel will know of Rosa, the Gangrel Primogen. No, you won't know him. It depends, in those 20 years, how much you would want to talk to your Gangrel, clanmates.
I don't really have a lot in common with my Primogen because she hates werewolves and I like them.
Yeah, so that's it.
She's just some sort of fake gangrel. Like our Venture Entry Tribute, we've now got a gangrel Tribute.
The Gangrel are not members of the Camarilla, but some decide to join. I think of the I think she owns a club. Bronwyn, Malkavian owns the Blue Velvet. The Blue Velvet is still there. It's still one of the more poshest clubs of the city. It's still doing what it, as in that's where was it, at the real upper class of the vampire will go. Succubus's club is still there. There's also a new club called Red 5, which is run by vampires.
Have the Elysiums changed much in the city?
No, they're still essentially the same. So they include the
new Succubus still in Elysium.
It never was Elysium.
So it was okay.
It was. You can see why people didn't misbehave in it, can't you? Someone could stop that very quickly. It was more regarded as neutral ground. As of the Nosferatu, it's really only Khalid. You know of those. There's a guy called Kaloon.
I will say this is definitely not the time to be a bloody hound. I mean, the Sabbat have wandered off.
Mm-hmm.
The anarchs are kind of behaving themselves.
They're not.
Which is always worrying.
They're not behaving themselves. Was it they? Most of the hounds are nicely busy. Was it making sure they do behave in the city? And you now have.
They're not coming into our city because they've got this nice little area outside.
They sort of wonder, and they certainly was it learn the hard way not to. There are thin bloods now. Annabelle is still there. Larger as life, still doing what she's always done in the limelight. I think you met was it Stryker? I think you met him with Portia. The pretty boy vampire who was it sulked a lot.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah. As you said, the baby was it chorus is back of the band after 20 years. They would, for the fact they haven't aged is going to make things interesting. Your favourite Helena's still there, who's ignored you. That's it. It's Abraham Disable, one of the few Tremere that's existing. He used to have one arm and now has two. The rest of the Tremere tend to keep themselves to themselves.
I guess someone gave him a hand.
Yeah. There are a couple of new there, so you have Mr. Yes, I like this. You have the elite of the Ventru, which includes, was it a Guess Who, your favourite prince?
Well, Ballard.
No. Horatio is still there. You remember Horatio? He's still as fat and he still as still has how you say doing this. Aaron Sovereign, which is I think I know whose sire he is. Yes, who's the census. Yeah, you know what I mean. He's now second in command. There's also another one called Navy Stewart, who's on the way up. And you have the outsiders, which a lot of which you don't, in your domain you don't go and wander the streets that often, unless you want to go hunting in the things. Bobby the Hurricane Weatherbottom's still about. Oh, I like his new picture. It's a lot better than the other one. He's the one that's the hacker sort of thing. Yeah, that's nothing more there. I think that's all I need to do. So, as he said, I think the start will be a meeting with the prince as in a court. And out of that will come the first sort of plot thing.
I have a clown outfit for when I go to court.
I think you're a Malkavian. You're not winding the prince up.
I would never do something like that.
Oh yes.
I may go there in my normal clothes, but I may just kind of
put little bells on your hat.
Yeah, no, put my spurs on.
Yeah, that would work. That would be quite good. You go clunk, 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 and look quite impressive. And especially if you wear your guns.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
You never know when someone needs shooting in the back.
Yeah, talking of guns and that, as far as you know, the Second Inquisition has been fairly quiet. The way in 20 years, from what you gathered, is the Camarilla and the Spat were sort of, was it doing tit for tat, telling where each of them was, and basically getting rid of enemies using the Second Inquisition. Things to note in the 20 years: you don't use the internet, or if you do, you don't put any words on it. The Screenet, as in the Nosferatu, was it internet, was taken down around the year 2000 by the Second Inquisition.
It's a shame the other game kind of died, because my character for that was brilliant for that. I was playing
I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. He comes on, but he doesn't say anything.
It was just like because I was going to be. My actual character's aim was to rebuild Dragnet.
Yeah. Let's see. What else is there? So as far as you're concerned, so you have to be more wary. Travelling to and from cities is now more difficult. Things like masks are now far more important than they have been in a long while. If you don't have a mask, you have to be very careful. The only thing you might get is if you go around in cowboy is you could probably get away with it in San Francisco, but you might get some second stares, you might get some issues doing it.
It's a trench coat and I just have a hat.
Yeah, you can get away with it.
When I have my gun, I mean, my gun is kind of in a hidden holster.
That's it. It's just, was it, if you were in, was it San Francisco? Well, first thing you notice, San Francisco was free and easy, and it still looks like it is. Chicago's a bit more straighter. As in doing that. And it has, I've got to look at the map, you have various regions. The only domain you can't have is anywhere like Breeding Green. That's Blood territory, and that's definitely Kevin Jackson territory.
Let me look for that. Where is the...
We need an area right next to it so we can go gang hunting.
Yeah, I don't think you want to. And no, are you standing at the mirror going Candyman, Candyman, Candyman doesn't mean the Candyman appears. Still like that film, but no, it doesn't. Yes.
It took a while to explain that to Marie.
Yeah, that was
given the stuff that we've seen.
Yeah, completely.
It wasn't Candyman. I just was trying to get Bloody Mary to play with me. That's what you did.
I was trying to think, where did she come from? Was it Chicago?
No, she's
London.
Yeah, she's
Typhoid Mary.
Just sort of a generalised.
Yeah. Like
she's such an old ghost story.
Yes. Typhoid Mary was another one. The same thing, spread typhoid. Oh yeah, you had the dark spirits and you haven't seen any ghosts in a long while. Because I remember rightly you were talked to a certain ghost.
My friend in the mirror.
That's it, you haven't seen her in a long time.
This is my mirror friend.
Yeah, you haven't seen her.
One of the things Lucy did want was she was considering asking about having her haven being haunted.
That actually is a possibility.
I just thought it'd be hilarious and just be a fun thing to add.
Actually, it will actually work very well in so much I can't see any issues against that. You have to find a house that has a history, so a house which was burnt down and rebuilt, a house where murders took place.
I mean, in somewhere like that won't be that hard.
No, but it'd be easy. Yeah.
There'll be many.
Considering that Chicago burnt down, lots of the bricks houses would have survived, or houses were built on sites that burned down, so there would be trapped people. So it is a possibility. I think in the original one there was. I don't think they're around anymore. There were two Nosferatu that lived in a house which was haunted. So that they actually used. It also means your haven's doubly safe.
Yeah.
He's also the only one out of us three that can see them.
Yes, and there is one disadvantage though. Paranormal investigators. That's the only thing you have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but paranormal investigators, like, I'm just not going to make a big deal out of my haunted house.
Oh, if you know, depends how famous it is. You also, as you said, you've also got to work out what your fame is.
Yeah.
At the same point, also, they come. It's like, I'm a full believer in the Second Amendment. You step onto my land, I will accidentally shoot you.
I know. I'll just, to be fair, if they step onto my land, I will just play up the haunted Victorian ghost child. I've still got a dress, a couple of dresses in my wardrobe. I'll just dig them out, scare the shit out of them, make them go away.
Actually, that actually would make sense to be true. you met Little Mouse, didn't you? Now, Little Mouse was the Nosferatu with the Kiersid.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, it might be easier if you actually kept in touch with her, because you pair kept in touch. And that will actually her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'll add that to my character
Yeah,
sheet.
that makes sense. Because yes, she usually appears as a little girl, but if you see a picture on she's one ugly, evil Nosferatu, if I remember right. Under Independence. She's under Independent.
It just means that, you know, if we get a really annoying paranormal people, then there will just be 2 of us. We get to play The Shining.
Oh, she'd be up for that.
The terrifying Shining in the doorway for it to go away.
What we need to do is we need to befriend a Ravnos and teach Marie chemistry.
That's now hidden. That's now hidden in a discipline. And I forgot which one it was. Oh,
it's presence and obfuscate combo.
That's it. That's it. There are no Ravnos, as far as I know, in the city. Doesn't mean they're not here. But they are, as you said, they're a clan that suffered greatly from what happened, and boy did they suffer. The best way is
I've learned a little bit. I've got somebody playing a Ravnos in my I'm trying to get my own campaign off the ground again, and
it's getting
and somebody's playing a Ravnos, so
that's it. They call the rogues, ravens, daredevils, the haunted. Masters of misdirection. Yep, that's it. The clan was almost annihilated at the opening of Salvo Gehenna War. Basically, if I remember rightly, it was the technocracy that thought it was a really good idea to blow up
the Jewish space lasers.
It launched the bloody nuclear weapon in the Umbra to get rid of.
They did actually have according to the original classic lore, they did actually fire from a space station a laser, didn't they, to try and help take down Ravnos?
I think so. That's.
I remember that, and the problem is with the nuclear bomb. Not only caused very little damage in the real world, but caused an awful lot of damage to the Umbra, and a hell of a lot of damage to the underworld.
Things got really wacky at the end there, didn't they?
They had the Week of Nightmares, of which you avoided them. Yeah, it is presence, is what it is. It is, and their bane now is they cannot stay in one place anymore.
Yep.
They have to move. And they said the ministry is also different. It's now actually Setites are only one part of the ministry. And Hecate are a whole rafter of clans. From Giovanni.
All the clans of the dead, they all got screwed over.
Well, all you guys will know that something happened in Venice about 10 years ago. And whatever happened in Venice was the Hecate came out of it. You don't quite know what, if you look at the timeline, you just know that something happened and the Hecate came out of it. And the Hecate include Giovanni, Nagaria, I think the Harbingers of Azure.
Apparently there's some Cappadocians in there still.
Oh yeah. Harbingers of Skulls, the Sebedi, as in the on those, so that's sending into the Dunsern, Putanescas now. They're a separate family. So was it the ongoing joke is with the other ones, because they're more Hecate, they have Putanesca servants, bodyguard. they all look the same. So they wander around Iterum, and it was an ongoing joke when they were there. And I've now got a picture of them. They all wear black shirts, pink waistcoats, all look mean bearded, and if they can get away with it, they'll wander around with guns and shotguns, looking generally more like a bad family from Sicily. I think I have a new picture of, which means you still know the Kid is there. And something else that's changed is the Kid is also now, for some reason, is a blood alchemist. And he's slightly shorter than he used to be. As I said, he's about, I think he's now only 7 foot, not 8 foot. That's it, the new clans. They got the Nikaru, as in the clan that really winds the Nosferatu up, as in the original Nosferatu. And you guess what their weakness is? They're not ugly, they're the completely opposite. They're beautiful, sort of thing. So
the original Nosferatu.
Yes, the ones. Actually, the quickest way to wind a Nosferatu says you know one of those guys. They fear the Nosferatu, fear them like no one's business. Right, that's it. And now I've got to write that, and I've got to write for the other one too, which I've got a big bombshell to drop on them. I'm going to enjoy that. With you guys, I haven't got that far yet. As I said, I think I've got the first thing. It's going to be an interesting thing to see what you do. It's a nice, it's a nice little, preponderance, as I said, and there's at least 2 plots, and second one should indirectly link you to the other group, but I won't tell you how.
Our Kotu sheet is now in the our character area.
Excellent, thank you very much.
After we have that extra windfall of XP, I have 3 XP to donate to the coterie if we need it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just put this one.
I decided to become a real menace with my last bit of XP. I've had Marie teach me some dominate.
Oh wow! Okay.
I've just been running vampire school, is what I'm learning.
I've been taking you on jaunts around the city, jumping around.
Oh yeah, what was it? At least none of you have taken lore sheets, which are interesting to say the least. The Kirsid's actually a lore sheet now.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, it's not actual clan, it's actually their Lazumba.
Ah, okay,
yeah.
That makes sense.
It does. They still messed with fairies. There's no changeling. I don't think when they're going to do Changeling 5 or Mage 5. I think what they're worried about Mage 5 is they'll oversimplify it. And there's a lot of complaint with the 5th.
It could probably use some streamlining.
Yes, there's a hell of a lot. I think a lot of complaint with the 5th edition is, from what I gathered, is some of them said they've oversimplified it. And I'm thinking, no, they've just got rid of the whole load of junk out of it. Mm-hmm. The Tarmoe is, yes, it's still there, but it's now a myth sort of thing. It exists.
The lore side, I've got no problem with what they've done with the world. The only issue I have is where they amalgamated disciplines.
Yes, that does make life interesting.
It just makes them, because it's like, oh yeah, some disciplines you got 2 choices at some level, some 1 choice at another, and it's like, so the things that were almost clan specific kind of can be taken by other people.
I'll draw a line at something like vicissitude and stuff like that, because that really is down to.
Yeah, but at the same point, because it's in one discipline, it's very hard to say, well, you really can't take that. When it's like, okay, so basically you're taking away a choice.
Yeah,
so the whole point of split. So when I modified it, I split the disciplines back up again. That was the only real change I did, was split discipline, and then making every level have 2 powers.
With the vicissitude, you've got you would have to find a teacher, and then they're saying, yeah, and you would go to one of these guys and talk to them.
I like what I did with vicissitude. I made vicissitude basically the two choices at each level are either fleshcraft or power of the land, and I combined power of the land and vicissitude into one discipline.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of like you've got that choice, and that's how the vampires kind of do, and that's how I did it. I really did spend so long on that, where I brought back all of the disciplines, and then I did make 2 levels 1 through 5 for every discipline.
Oh, there's somewhere there's 2 1, as I said, but he also reflects the fact that disciplines have changed. They're powerful with mortals, but they're not as powerful as they used to be, and it does reflect, especially blood magic, because in the previous...
It's not a bad thing, is it?
No, blood magic was failing before. I've still got to work out the blood alchemy as far as the thin blood's concerned, because that's hard work to work out, because they have to sort of mix different bloods of different, what do they call it, different tempo, as in different moods.
Yeah.
Of which you've got to then sort out. So they then got to pre-do that. Then they got to carry those. They can only carry certain amounts, if I remember rightly. So I ignore thin bloods until I could work them out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've done, and I sort of ignored the different blood the humors, like
that's
I haven't really delved into that yet.
Humors because it's just a bonus dice for vampire
right.
The only other good thing is if you play a character who wants to learn a discipline, you can kind of keep feeding off of the same humour as a way to train a discipline. So it gives
right.
That's what it basically means. It is a way of doing it. Is you need a certain blood of a certain type to do it. Then there's a bit of role playing involved with that, as you've got to get the person to the right. So with you guys, it's usually one to do with fear more than anything else.
Right.
Go scare people. As I said, the criminals ran your way, or was it have hours of fun? If it's a posh area, all of a sudden the whole of the thing's done there. I think that's all I need.
I say what we do is we make it our coteries objective to all learn obtenebration and annoy Jackson.
Yeah.
It's coming. We are the darkness.
You got the Lazomba already there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get them to teach us all Oblivion, and we all sit there with all shadow powers and really irritate Jackson.
That's true. That's also the other thing, is just because anybody has that discipline, you've got to find someone to teach it. So yeah, someone might have the discipline of levitation, but if they don't know it, you're not going to. So the shadows, you have to find a Lanzomba to teach it you. You just can't. Oh, I want to. Find someone. Do you know where a Lanzomba is? If you want to do Oblivion, which is the same thing, as in the Necromancer side, you have to find the Hecatar. If you want to talk to ghosts, find a Hecatar, but there's no Hecatar there.
If you want to talk to ghosts, you just learn a bit of Auspex. You can see them then.
Yeah,
you just can't compel them. You just can't compel them.
No, you can't really talk to them either. That's where Oblivion, which is now the one there, comes in, working with shadows and with the underworld, and then it gets interesting.
Yeah, the only problem with Oblivion is in its core mechanics, the fact that every time you use it, you can potentially gain stain.
Yes. But you are...
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, there's literally part of the mechanics is every time you cast it, you can potentially gain stain.
Yeah, it's not a... You're dealing with the dead, and it does have a price to pay. Oh yeah, as he said, was it God knows?
Makes sense, yeah.
God knows was by the time Mr. Portendorf had finished. But he was in and out of the underworld like no one's business. Oh yeah, it's probably where his dark fascination with Marine came from.
Oh yeah.
Why? I'm not in the underworld.
No, he wanted to take you there.
I know. He threatened me. I felt very threatened.
Yes.
There's a reason why he died.
Yes.
There is a reason. No one threatens Marie and gets to say. I mean, it's not like he saw that coming.
No, I like. I thought that was good because you'd already got to the mad German, and of course he was thinking, I can wind him up. So I started winding him up, and he said, well, actually, he didn't need to wind him, but he just needed to use his dementation just to was it sort of start fiddling with his brain. At that point, was it the mage knew it, so he turned round. What a mistake to make! Turn your back on someone with a gun. You get
no one even saw that coming. I remember.
Yeah.
Everyone's face was like, what? Where'd that come from?
Oh yeah, he just turned around. I think he turned around and he shot him in the back once and again, I think.
Yeah, I just shot him once. Once in the back. He didn't see it coming. Didn't get a chance to dodge.
Yeah.
Point blank shot. Dead.
Yeah. As he said, was it? I liked that. That was definitely good. Of course, was it? As I said, that's one of the connections with the other characters, is Master Portendorfer, and that is actually a proper English name. Anyway, so I think that's it. I think we've got everything. It's just do your touchstones and everything else. Finish the quarterly off. Think of a good name.
We have to name the coterie. Oh boy. Okay.
Everything really needs to be done on it now. I've done the dots. I've given us 2 dots in an armory and 2 dots in security. So we're quite good like that. And then and I've given us as a group Malawa, so we've got the elders are kind of looking after us a little bit. And then we've got 2 dots of status because we are hounds.
Yeah, and that will be with the primogen.
Did you get that extra dot that I contributed?
I haven't yet. I haven't decided where we want it.
Maybe what's our chase or chase? You know,
we've got 3 chase, 1 in the other
3.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, we got. So we're actually quite a large area because we're in the good with the primogen.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it. I named the other groups. Was it Coterie at one point? The Il Visitari, the visitors. So if there's one of the, if you see the pictures on top of the group, I've got to get Becky to do it again. She's the one that does all the pictures, so she's actually done another picture for the other group. Let me see if I can find it for you, because she actually did this. I was quite impressed by it. Let's see if I've got it somewhere. She did this for the last group and the other ones, and if you, she did it for Chicago, for the last Chicago. She did it for when they were in Cairo. This is the one she did for. I think if I can go this one. Let me see if I can find it. Images. Cover image. That's the one she did. And Becky did that, which I thought was.
Oh, nice.
And the other one.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, she did the other one, and the other one she did. She did a whole load. Sort of use her to do that, and she did for the other ones. Chronicles of Darkness. Now it's World of Darkness. Chronicles revised. Now Chicago by Night, Giovanni Chronicles. See if I can find them. Images. Cover image. Yes. I'm trying to think which was one I used. I think it's that one. That's the one she did for Cairo.
Oh, nice.
That's the other of those. The two, the Nosferatu in the background and the young lady in the blue dress, are the only 2 that are actually there. The other guys never got as far as there. Never got that far. And there's one more somewhere, which even goes back even further. which goes all the way back to the first Chronicle, of which there's some very nice pictures of myself. Was it doing a special? Was it a special one-off game? Now where is it? Did I put it? And that's where Mr. Wright and Mr. Umbus come from, as in they were the first group. Mr. Wright's introduction to, was it Vampire? He sort of dropped someone out of the window, which I thought was yeah, it was he was. Oh God, blimey! I cannot find it. Where did I put it? I always hate this, but you put them somewhere and you can never remember where you put. Yes, there it is. Now, which is the one? It's two of those. That's the original, the start. That's it. Il Visore, and you've got Marcus Umbus, Mr. White. That actually, the young lady at the back is the one that you've seen, and that is the earlier version, the lady in the blue dress, and that's the first group. And Mr. Umbus is Mr. Umbus and Mr. White are the two that are still blood hunted. Right. Oh yeah, that is going back. That must be now over 10 years ago. Since then, they've been Chicago at least twice. They went to Cairo. They missed out New Orleans because I stopped running it, and now they've gone on to San Francisco. So they've gone through at least three or four. Was it Chronicles already? And the only two are still running. There's no Noz in that one. And the only one that's missing in there is William McLeod, but he's not there. He's a Nosferatu, you're not going to see him. But he was there. Oh yeah.
Alright, well I keep going here, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a night anyway, because I'll keep you in touch what's happening.